So yesterday we have learned about the callbacks and promises. So today we will see how we can write the async and await code and what is the use of this one. Okay. So as you can see here, even in the first condition, this one is being executed in 1 second of delay, and this one is taking 2 seconds of delay. Okay. And first I'm calling this function create new user. Okay. And once it is done, then I'm calling here as a callback another function called get details. Okay, so here we are using then, means we are waiting for this method. Once this method is executed successfully, then execute this one. Okay, so it is waiting here. So instead of this we can use async and await. That we will see how we can write that code. So simply I'm going to comment this one here. Okay, and for async and await, here I'm going to comment this one first. Okay, okay, so here I'm going to show you the same thing, how to write that. So as you can see, first I'm creating a new user. Okay, and then I'm getting the details. So this detail, normally if you will call, will execute first. Okay, because it is taking just 1 second and it is taking 2 seconds, so you won't be able to get the complete result. So that I'm going to show you here. Why to write here again? I'm just going to copy this one. Okay, see here we have this one. So I'm calling this, and in promise you can see we are getting error because here we have flagged as true right now. I'm going to make this one as false. In that case you will get user is being created right now. It's been created. Now get details of the user I'm calling. So here you can see we are getting just two user details. The one which we have created, again we have the same problem even if we have here promises, because we are not handling that. Okay, by using then method chaining in promises. So what we can do alternative here we have with the async and await. Okay, so simply I'm going to create here a function called load data. Okay, load data, because in real time you never know, like if you are creating something and you are getting some detail from the backend, how many seconds it will take. And if there is any dependent function on that, like once you will get data, then only that should execute. So in that case you can use async and await. So here the same thing we are going to do here. What I'm saying, in load function I'll call this one load data. So once I will call this, it is going to create the what? It is going to create first the new user. It is going to update here this new user object, and then it is going to call this. So the same problem again, we have not changed anything here. Same problem here. So what we have to do, if you will observe here, what we were doing, first we were calling this, and by using this then method dot then method, we were passing this get details. Once this is being created, whatever time it is going to take, till that time it will wait here. That you can see in promise, it is happening here. The same thing here you can do. If this method is dependent on this one, that it should wait for this method, then what you have to do, simply you have to write here one await keyword. Means it is going to take some time. In case if it is going to take some time, then this method will wait. Once it is done, then only this method will be called. So if I'll save right now this one, you will get one error that uncaught syntax error. Await is only valid in async functions. Okay. And the top level bodies of modules. So here you have to use this function as a async function. So you have to write here async before function. This keyword you need to add. So whenever you have any await keyword inside any function or module, then you have to use that function or module as async. Okay. Now if I'll save, see, you are getting the complete result, because here this function is waiting for this function to completely execute and then it is being called. It is same like this promise chain. Okay, that yesterday we have seen. First it was calling this, and once it is completely done with the execution, then only it is going to call the another method. Okay, fine. But here we are not able to handle any error. So how we can handle, let's say if we have this flag as true. So true, if you have, you are getting one error called uncaught in promises undefined. But exact error you are not getting here. What type of error here we have? So let's say if I'm giving here resolve pass, okay, and reject fail. Here you are getting, let's see, fail in form of error. But how to handle that error? Like if you have to print like this, if you have to catch that error, then what you have to do? So simply what you have to do is you need to take all your business logic or whatever the code logic is there, and you have to write everything where you can get any error. That piece of code you have to put in between try block. Okay, and after that you have to write here catch. Okay, and this one is a function. Here error you are going to get, and you can print here simply that error, console.log, that error you can print here. So here you are getting fail. Okay, when you ever you are using promise chain, then you have to use then, and then if you are returning again something from here, then you can pass that thing to another then method. So here again you can add dot then, means first execute this, then another function, like that you can write. Here also you can write like that. But the same example, the single example here I have taken for this data array, and I have shown you how to call or how to solve this problem by using callback, then promises, then async and await. Okay, so you can see here, like here you have your code where you can get any error. You have chances, okay, that you can get any error while executing this, and you can handle that error by using catch block. So where you can get error, those piece of code you have to put inside the try block, and here you have to catch that. Okay, so this is all about async, await and promises. But now in real time, if you have to load some data, then what you have to do, that also I'll show you by using async and await. Okay, so for that one, in JavaScript, okay, in JavaScript, we have one fetch web API. This is also like set timeout. This is also the part of web API only. This is not part of JavaScript. Okay, runtime environment. So For now, as we do not have the backend server, I'm going to take a like dummy data here. So here I'm going to simply write JSON placeholder. This site you can visit. Okay, fake API. You can write fake API. You will get many sites actually, or either you can go for the JSON placeholder. So what I'm going to do here, you can see fetch. Fetch is a method, okay, that you can call. So if you will call fetch no, as a result you will get promises only. Okay, so we will see here. If I'll run this script, I'm getting one object. Okay, here because we have just one. So we can go for any one of them. Like here we have users. Okay, here we have users. So these many details here we can get. Just this uh, endpoint we have to take. This URL is known as endpoint where we have to hit actually. Okay, so first we will see the syntax of fetch, just for the understanding purpose. In real time also you have to see all those things, what are the possibilities. We are not going to cover like how to pass headers and some methods in that, or any like query string here if you have to pass, how to do that. So in MDN you can see what is the structure actually for a fetch. So here you have fetch, simply you can write fetch, then like then this is a method chaining only, promise chaining. Here you can see the same thing they have written by using async and await. Okay, here we have fetch, and as an object you have to pass the header details. Whenever it is required, you can check out this site. You can pass like credential, you can pass here your headers. Okay, you can pass JSON body if you want to send something in the server side. Okay, so those things right now is not required. This a special object is not required. Just we will go with the endpoint only and we will get some result. Okay, so I'm going to close this one. Here I'm going to take this format first. Okay, and we'll get some data here where I'm going to get some response. Okay, console.log. What it is returning in response, that we will see first. So see here, you will get one promise. See, as a end result, and this fetch is the part of web API, part of browser. This will not come with your JavaScript runtime environment. Okay, that you need to remember. And today I will show you how exactly async and await works in real time behind the scene, like how to use that call stack, event loop, and web APIs, or callback queue and micro is task queue. Everything we will see today. So here we have fetch as a method, and here you have to pass endpoint in between. The second parameter also you can pass for the header details as an object. Okay, as an object here you can pass, but that is not required right now. So I'm not using that. Okay, so if you will see here, promise is fulfilled here, and result here you have body is there, body used is there, headers. Okay, and a status code here you can see is okay, this one is true, rejected false. Status code is true, status is okay. Okay, text we do not have anything from backend. Anyone if is willing to send some status text, they can send text also. Type is course. URL is here, we have this URL from where we are getting the result. So that detail you can see here also when you will hit some like endpoint in network tab also you can track that. Okay, if you will load that in page, okay, then at that time. So here, if you're calling like this, okay, so we are not appending this one on the main page. In fetch xhr, here we have a status code. Now I'm going to refresh. See, the status code is, I'm going to expand it, 200. Type is fetch. Okay, initiator, who is initiating this fetch? Then this script. Okay, size is this much. How much time it is taking, you can see. So here, if you will go, 1 second, and here if you will click, you are getting some header details. So response headers are here, as you can see. Okay, and in response you are getting this object. In response you are getting this object, but you are not able to print right now because that is in the form of promise. So that we have to do. Okay, that we have to do here. Now what I'm going to do is, as we know, if we have any promise, then what we have to do, next thing they are saying, then, okay, response, you have, because it is returning one response dot json. Okay, that we have to check. So here just we need to write dot, then once you are getting some response from backend, then send a call back here, function. Okay, some response here you have, simply I'm writing here response. Okay, and this response I need to convert into JSON format. So what we have to do, we have to write that response dot JSON. Okay, fine. And now we will see what is inside. 1 second, where is that response? Again we have promise. Again we will write here then. Okay, then we have to pass again here one callback function. See here what we have. We have here that JSON data. Anything you can write here. You can write here data also if you want. Whatever parameter you want to write, you can write. And then you can print here what? You can say return data. Okay. From here, if you will return, you won't be able to get that. That data you have to print here. Okay. So here you are going to get that final data. 1 second. Response fetch. Am I doing something wrong here? Let me check here. Fetch is okay. Then function, here we have response.json. The same thing I'm doing here, no? JSON. Let me do this. Check this one. Here I'm getting data. Are you guys able to find any like typo? I did some mistake here or what? Response.json. If I'll write simply here JSON, that doesn't matter actually. Yeah, anything we can pass here. Hmm, let me rewrite this. Dot, then here we have to write a function, callback function, and this callback function will be like response. Okay, and here that response we have to get in the form of JSON data. So response dot JSON. Okay, and then when we are getting that JSON data, we have to print that one. So finally, again, I'm going to pass a callback. So this is nothing but promise chaining. Here I'm going to print the console dot log, and that data which we are getting from here, that we have to print here. Why I'm getting undefined, I'm not sure. This one is same. Are you guys able to find like any bug? Is there any typo is there? Why it is happening? I missed actually that return. So it was not returning here, no? They are using arrow function. So in same line, they are writing response.json. So if you are using arrow function, no need to use that return. We have already learned about that. So I was missing that return actually here. Because of that, it was not coming. So what they are doing here, we are getting here that response actually. Okay. And now if I will simply write return data where data console.log. Let's see here. You are getting again promise here because the finally it is returning promise. If you want this data to iterate, what you have to do, you know, here you can create one function. Okay, one function like this. Let's say function load data. Okay, and here you have to pass that obj. Okay, or you can yeah, obj you can pass here. This function I'm going to call here. This data will pass here. Okay, and first I'm going to print this one, what we are getting here in data console.log and obj. This one I'm going to call now. See here we are getting that data, this one. So we are able to pass the end result finally to a function, and now we can do anything whatever we want to do by using this object data. Okay, we can take like just id, user id or title. Let's say if you have to print just title, so simply you can take obj dot title. Here you are getting that. Cannot read properties of undefined reading title. And where is that? Title, and you are getting this one. Obj.title. But let me load this one. We are getting this error. Sorry, 2 times I'm calling here. No need to call this one, no, because here once we will get the data, we have to call this one. Okay, so here we are calling. Once we will get data, we are calling this one. Even we can get now ID. We are getting ID. User ID also we can get, or complete object we can get here. So now no need to do anything here. Uh, Simply I'll go for the users. Okay, we'll take this endpoint, copy, and here in fetch I will paste endpoint. We'll save this one and we'll get that end result. Here we have in array form these many details. So in real time also, if you're working with the backend developer, they'll give you one endpoint. Okay, and by using that you can do anything. Now you are getting that object, and now you have to print all the names of the user. So what you have to do, this object is nothing but, here we can write, this one is array of object, no, so you are getting array. So here simply you can make use of now that utility functions which we have learned, like map, if you want to use filter. Okay, so filter also you can use, like the person who is having like ID 4, okay, or greater than 4, like that you can write here. Let's say array dot, first one we are going to print for each. Here we have element is nothing but, here we are going to write simply that user. Okay, and here we will print console.log user dot name. You are getting all those names now. Okay, if you want something else, you can print like the complete object details also if you want, one by one, individual user detail you are getting here. Okay, now here if you have to filter, okay, filter that, now I'm writing here if, okay, if user dot name dot length is greater than 10, okay, then only print this. 1 second, this function array filter, if user dot name dot length is greater than, okay, I think see here, just one name is there which is greater than like 20 characters. So here you are getting this result just, okay, so that you can see that condition you can write if you want. So filter function also you can use, map also you can use. Okay, map, filter, reduce, based on your like uh requirement you can write whatever you want. Here you are getting that. Okay. So now you know like how to use the fetch and how to render the data from the backend if you have any endpoint, and whatever time it is taking, you can simply go with this one, like this promise chaining. Here I'm not using what? Here I'm not using any async and await, but you can use async and await also if you want. So the same thing I'm going to replicate here by using async and await. Okay. So here what I'm going to do, uh, I'm going to create a function, let's say function init. Okay. And here we have fetch. Here we have fetch. So simply what I have to write here inside this one, I'm going to write a var response, whatever response I'm going to get here when we will call the fetch. So that we will get. Okay. But this is going to take some time. We don't know how much time it will take because we have to get this one from the server, this data. So here we have to write await. Okay. Then once it is done, then we have to write here like whatever response we are getting, that we have to store in the form of like actual JSON data. So here again you have to write await, and then okay, and then because next function is also there no after this, so here we have to write simply whatever response we have received, that we need to convert in form of JSON. Okay. And then call this data, and you can make use of this one. Okay. I'm going to comment this one now. Simply as we are using here await and await, so this main function always requires one async keyword. Okay. One sec. Here first of all we'll see uh, what data we are getting. Console.log. Are we getting any array? We'll debug this one then. We'll not call this one. First, we'll check what we are getting inside data. Nothing. In response. Sorry. It's my bad, no? I have never called this init method, so how it will come? So I need to initiate this first. Okay. Now you will be able to get all those results here. The same thing we are able to achieve by using async and await. And you can put these things inside try block if you think you may get some error, to handle the errors in real time. In try and catch block, you can write it. So everyone, async, await, and callbacks and how actually fetch works is clear or not? Is that clear? No?
Sir, hello, am I
Yeah,
audible?
yeah.
Yeah, why we use line number 1840 there await. It is only waiting that HTTP request there. After that, in second line we are using await again.
Here, see, 1 second. You are saying here,
Yes, yes.
okay. If you will not use here, no,
Mhm.
you will get promise.
Okay.
Okay. So you have to wait until and unless all those data is converted into JSON form or not. Okay. Because this is dependent here. This load data is also dependent on this data. Okay. So that's why here you have to write again await. Then only you will be able to get the actual data.
Somewhere see that stringify JSON dot stringify.
Yeah, then you can write that one.
Okay.
Okay. So here if you have a huge data and immediately after that if it is taking that one, okay, and it is not converting, then it will print the same promise. Okay. So just to avoid that, I have used here await.
Okay. Fine.
Is that clear?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yeah. Any other question, guys? No? So we have not learned about yet DOM. Okay, no problem. So, but we have set timeout, no? Set timeout. And here I'm going to write this one. And here we'll write console dot log. Okay, console dot log 1. So it will print after 1 second. Here you can see 1, isn't it? And here also I'm going to write here 10 I'm going to write. So syntax run. Okay, it's my bad. Here we are getting first 10 and then 1. Okay, fine. I'm now going to use here one for loop. Okay, for loop where I is equal to 0. I should be less than some huge number I'm giving. Okay, and I plus plus. And here I'm going to print this one. Okay, if I'm saving this, it is more than 1 second, but still you can see that console.log of this set timeout is not printed yet, isn't it? So it is blocking actually this code, no? Are you getting my point? What is happening here?
Yes, sir.
Even though we are calling first set timeout and then we are calling this for loop, so it should print no. Even though if it is taking time, okay, even though if it is taking time, it should print that. If I'll save and will again refresh, it's taking time, is it's got actually stuck here. It's a huge number, so 1 second, 1 second, 1 second. So you got my point, what actually I'm trying to do here. And if you have like 2 or 3 set timeouts, and even though if you have just 1 second delay, it is not able to print. Why it is happening? Because JavaScript engine is a synchronous. Okay, it is going to execute one by one only. Then why we do call this one as a asynchronous program here? Because we do have a concept of callback queue, web APIs, and call stack event loop things. That I'm going to show you what is happening actually here. I have closed that one. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to rerun this one again. See, even though we have just 1,000, it is waiting for more than 1 second, isn't it? If I'm going to pass just 0 second, means 0 second delay, it should print first and then only it should go for the for loop, but still it is not working. So what is happening actually? How actually it is working internally, that I'm going to show you now. Okay. So for interview purpose, just you need to understand, and even in real time, if you are going to debug something, so then you can just relate all those things with this. So here we have already learned about the, if you remember, call stack. Okay, please speak up. You can unmute your mic now. So what is call stack? Anyone knows about that? We have already learned what exactly the call stack is. Here we have web APIs, like we have Canvas, we have a speech API, we have like set timeout. Okay, we have here, let's say, local storage. Okay, we have like session storage. So these all things come with, even we have like a location thing, no? So these all APIs will come with what? Browsers. Okay, this is not the part of JavaScript engine. Another thing here we have callback, or sometimes it is also known as event queue. Okay, now what is call stack? Tell me, Himanshu or Prerna, if anyone can tell me what exactly call stack is. If someone is
So it
asking
is used for storage of the memory.
for call stack,
No, I think it's used for calling the functions, right?
this is, the call stack is just to trace where you are right now in your code. Okay,
Yeah,
just to
yeah.
check that one, isn't it? So this is also kind of data structure which is maintaining actually the state. So it, by using this call stack, you will be able to identify like where is right now JavaScript execution engine is executing that code line, everything you will be able to see. Okay, by using call stack. This is web API. This is not the part of JavaScript runtime environment. Here we have callback queue or event queue. And now we are going to see here what is happening actually. Okay, so when you are calling set timeout, function, first of all, when you will run a program, what will happen? Global execution context will be pushed to the call stack, because that is the main thing in your program. And thereafter, whatever code we have written, it is going to call what? It is going to call, one sec. It is going to call the set timeout, isn't it? So this is asynchronous, no, but the set timeout is asynchronous function. Why they are saying asynchronous, that I'm going to show you here. So even though here we have 0-second delay, okay, first it will come here only. Okay, so first it will call here, and we have here a call back. What we have inside this? A call back inside timeout, and here we have a delay, that is 0 seconds. So what is going to happen first in this execution here, call stack, it is going to call the set timeout. Okay, set timeout it will call. And once it will call set timeout, it will say the JavaScript engine, hey, this is not the part of the JavaScript engine, so check where actually it is. So if you will inspect in console, what is window? Window is a global object. Inside this window only, everything is there. Okay, set timeout, local storage, session storage, everything is there. Okay, so it will directly connect with the web APIs. Okay, and it will popped out from here. Okay, again you will come back to the global execution context, and that callback will come here, where in web APIs. And whenever you are using set timeout, set timeout, there will be a tick event or timer event, you can say. For timer, here we have tick event that will count the delay. So here it will complete that time first. Right now in our case we have 0 seconds. Okay, so here it will come, it will complete that timer, and after that it will push that callback where in callback queue. And queue will work in this fashion: first in, first out. If you have multiple set timeouts, no, so here first it will come here the callback one for this one. If you have another set timeout, then another set timeout, then it will come like that. Okay, here we have callback one in our case, and it is waiting actually. Once it is done, no, it will start executing what? Another thing, for loop. Okay, so it will start executing until and unless this execution context is not. First I'm going to remove this one. Once set timeout function execution is done, no, okay, at the time, as I said, it will send that callback. Execution is done, it will send the callback to the web API. Behind the scene, what it will do, it will run that particular callback here. It will complete that tick event, timer, whatever delay you have provided here. But in this case, you have just 0 second. And meanwhile, once it is popped out, another task will again here updated it. So it is going to execute that for loop. It will continuously execute that for loop. And here, because we have just 0 second delay, immediately it will come here to web API. It will complete the timer because we have the 0 seconds, and it will send to the callback, and it will wait here only. Directly it will not go to the call stack. So here we have one call concept called event loop, which is going to check actually the call stack every time. If it is not occupied, completely done, then only it is going to move this callback to the call stack. So once it is done, it will be popped out again from the call stack, and then this callback will go where? In call stack. So this callback will be executed, and it is going to print what? 10. So that's why it is taking time, even though if you are providing just 0 seconds delay. So whenever you have any event, right now we have not learned about event, no, like click event is there. Okay, key up event is there. Mouse events are like mouse enter, mouse out. Okay, mouse in, mouse over. So many events are there that we will learn in DOM. Okay, so whenever you have any event, that will communicate with the web APIs only. Okay, and meanwhile, if you have any other function that will execute, and after completion of this, everything, every event callback will come here and it will be in queue, one by one, one by one, one by one, it is going to execute. And every time event loop is going to check whether the call stack is empty or not. If it is not occupied with any task, then only it is going to move one callback to the call stack. Once this is done, again another callback to the call stack, another callback to the call stack. Is that clear, everyone? What exactly is happening here in our case?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so now I'm going to copy this. Here we have, let's say 1 second timer. Okay, here we have 2 second timer, and here we have half-second timer. Okay, 500 milliseconds. No, so here I'm writing as 10, or you can say simply 1 is nothing but 1 second, 2 is nothing but 2 second, and 0.5 is nothing but half-second. And this is normally for loop. Okay, so here I'm going to print hi. So now tell me the execution, how it is going to happen. What will be the output?
Uh, it will print high, after that 0.5, then
Okay,
1 and 2.
are you sure?
Yeah, I think.
What it is printing? Now again I'll save and we'll see. Again,
E 0.
what is happening? First 1 and then 0.5. Okay, it is getting change every time, no?
Yes, yes.
See, so that is because of this for loop only. What if I'm removing this for loop? Then
0.5, 1 and 2.
every time you will get the same result now. But what is happening whenever it is executing this for loop, no? So it is taking sometimes less time, sometimes it is taking more time. That is not fixed actually. Okay, so that's why you are getting that, or what we say, the different result actually. So here in this case, if you have like 3 set timeouts, how it is going to work? If I'm writing here simply, let's say a function greet. Okay, function greet console.log hi. So if you will save this, no, I have not called this one actually. First hi is coming, okay, then 0.5, then 1, and then 2. So every time if you will execute this one, you are going to get the same result. So what is happening here now? Tell me, if I have to explain this one, what is happening? It is going to execute synchronously only, one by one. So first, what is happening? First, it is going to take the set timeout, this one, okay? It will call this one or not. So that also we can see here, no issue. We'll put a debugger over here, okay? Fine, we'll refresh this one. So where it is going first? See, for the first set timeout, I'm going for the next call. Set timeout first is done, okay? In call stack, again, that is empty. Second, it is calling, again, it is empty. Now it is calling greet, and it is going to print that line in console first. Right now we do not have. Now see here, it will print. So that's why here we have what? Hi first, you can see hi. Now it will go for the next timer, okay? That is this set timeout. So one by one only it is executing, top to bottom only it is executing. But what is happening actually? Why it is not calling the callback? Okay, so now we will go for that. Excuse me. So here again, I'm going to explain you about that. I will just erase everything. Okay, so now what is happening again? Here we have a call stack. Okay, here we have a call stack. Here we have web APIs. Okay, and here we have callback or event queue, and here we have what? Event loop. So event loop is just going to check the call stack, so that we know. So first, global execution context will be pushed to the call stack because your program is running, that script is running. Now the next one is going to call the set timeout. Okay, first it will call the set timeout. Set timeout it will call. Which set time out? The first one, this one it is going to call. Okay, this one it is going to call, and this one is for the 1 second. Okay, see here, delay is 1 second. So set timeout, once it is calling set timeout, it will be called. While calling, it will be added here. Okay, and the callback function. So callback is what? This console.log 1 is the callback from here to here, will be sent to the with that particular timer in the web API. So here we have first one, this set timeout timer. And what is the delay? Tell me, Himanshu.
1 second.
1000 milliseconds is nothing but 1 second. Okay, so it will complete here timer for 1 second. Okay, till that time, and once it is sending, no, it will be popped out. Okay, it will be popped out from there. It will be popped out from there because that execution is done, complete. Here we have that callback now for that set timeout, and meanwhile it is executing here that timer. No, another set timeout will be invoked. That will be invoked here, and another set timeout here. If you will see, what is that? We have a callback with console.log 2, and timer delay is what? 2 seconds. Okay, so once it is going to call again, once it will complete the 1 second, it will send that callback to the callback queue, and it will be here in CB1. As right now, it will come second set timeout is going to send here. So second set timeout is again with a timer, that is callback 2 will be in line, and it is going to complete 2 seconds, complete 2 seconds. Okay, so it will complete 2 seconds. Meanwhile, here it is going to pop out first, and then what it is going to do, which function it will call? Tell me, Prerna, which function it is going to call? This one, it is going to call the greet, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because first set timeout is done, second is done, third one here we have this greet call. So it is going to call the greet again. So here it will call greet. So greet is a normal JavaScript function. So once if you are calling greet, it will print console.log hi, and it will be popped out again. Execution completed for this one. And immediately after that, what will happen? It will call another function. Okay. So priority will go for the normal function call only. And right now this call stack is waiting. So CB2 is also done. Second timer is also done. Set timeout. Okay. Set timeout. Saying here, so it will send that callback. Actually this one will come first, because one by one when it is coming, so it is taking 2 seconds, it is taking 1 second, and this callback is taking what? 0.5 seconds. So which one is going to complete first?
Point
This
five.
one. So this one will be here, then this one will be here, then last one will come here. Okay, callback 1 2 3. Based on that timer, it is going to complete that, and it will come here. And now once this set timeout is done, no, this will be empty. Now event loop will see, hey, now call stack is idle, not doing anything. There is no task. Now I can move this one. So it will move and will take one callback here. So first callback is nothing but it is going to print what? 0.5. So it will print 0.5. Then another callback here we have that is going to print 1, and vice versa here. You can see. Okay. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
In real time, I'm going to show you like how actually it is going to execute. So we have one online tool. If I'm able to find that or not, let me check here. Event loop. Online tool is there. Yeah, this one. So here I'm going to copy and paste that code. Okay. We'll run that. Okay. So once if I'm going to run this, no, so this is call stack. One second, it is running still, not this one. So micro stack is also there that I can show you what is happening here. See, oh, sorry, I didn't see that one, that step. Here we have, first I'll run this one. Here we have a step by step. This callback queue is here. After this one, another callback is coming for another timer. Another callback here. Now greet is there. Right now we have C in task queue. Anonymous 1, 2, and greet. And now hi, it is printing. Next step, it will be popped out. Then set timeout. Third set timeout is being called. And here it is. Now step. Okay, run task. So here, this one will come first because the priority was here for that one. Timer was 0.5. Now 0.5 it is going to print. It will be popped out. This should come. See, that one will come first. And now it is going to print 1. And again, that anonymous function is being added here in call stack. And again, it is going to be executed. That is completely done. Here we have this one. Okay. See, console.log hi, set timeout again. This timer is being completed in pop. See here, set timeout. One second. So this is one example they have already. Okay, edit. Sorry, one second. By using this, here we have web API, callback queue, call stack. I think by using this also, we can execute this one, run. This one is printing their own code actually, just for demonstration. So timer will be like this only. It will complete. Once it is done, it will come to the callback queue, then it will come to the call stack, but it is going to check here. So this is actually the best tool you can use just for your understanding purpose. I have already explained you how actually it is going to work. So task queue is going to work for, there are two queues actually. Task queue is going to work for event and any like web API if you are using for that one. And micro stack queue is going to work for the promises if you have, like you are getting some data from the backend server. So it is not going to block, or it is not going to wait for that particular event, that once it is going to execute it, then only it will be executed. No, not like that. So promises, and if you have any DOM like mutator mutation in any DOM, like if you have any changes in DOM and you want to update that, right now this is not required. That's why I'm not explaining you. So at that time, this micro stack, okay, or sorry, micro task queue is going to be executed. So the task queue and micro task queue, this is known as task queue, callback queue, event queue. So the priority will be high for the micro task queue only. Once it will see here the call stack is empty, event loop is going to assign that task to the call stack, and that one will be executed first. If we have any thing like in queue, in the micro task queue, first this one will be executed, then only it will go for the callback queue. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So this is all about asynchronous programming in JavaScript. We do not have actually asynchronous. You have seen one by one only it is executing. Okay, this is just kind of like abstraction behind that we are not able to identify what is happening behind the scene. So it is communicating actually with the web APIs, and meanwhile it is waiting. Okay, that's why we are saying asynchronous non-blocking code, but it is not happening exactly like that. You got my point now? Everything is synchronous only in JavaScript. Okay, clear? Event loop is clear now. What is event loop? What is callback queue?
Yes, sir. Mm,
Yeah. So now, last thing for today, we are going to learn about like how to work with the import and export. Okay. In real time, if you will learn the React or if you are working with any like third-party library and you want to import that, then you can use this import and export. So these new feature actually they have added in ECMAScript 6 itself. So that I'm going to show you now how to work with the import and export. That won't take much time. Don't worry about that. Max 10 to 15 minutes, and then we can wrap up. Okay. Yeah. So most of the thing is done now. uh, from the JavaScript part, the core JavaScript part. Most probably from tomorrow onwards, we will start the DOM. Okay. Iterators and generators I'm not going to cover because in real time we do have uses, but not like maximum you are not going to use that one. Okay. So for like I can say as a homework, you can go and check out on like any online tutorial or any online article for iterators and generators. If you have any question, you can ask me tomorrow. There's no issue with that. Just one topic I'm saying I'm not going to cover. You can check out by yourself only because now you know how async await is working, promises are working, functions. So you will be able to now understand that also. Okay, is that clear? So now we are going to see how actually modules work. Here we have, let's say, JavaScript. Okay, here we have a script 2. So I'm going to create here first one thing, uh, module 1.js. Like you have so many files in your project. Okay, and why it is required? Because by using this method, no, you can write your like clean and maintainable code. Okay, and even for reusability purpose also it is very recommended, I can say. And for separation of concern also, if you want to keep your like separate component in React and in JavaScript also, if you want to write like separate functionalities in modules, so you can write whenever it is required, you can call it in main file. No need to add multiple files in your HTML file. Just add one, and you can integrate all those files in one main JS file. So here, let's say here you have one file module 1.js. Okay, and another file also I'm going to create here as main.js. So this is the file where you are going to add each and everything. Okay, so now for this example, I'm going to comment this one as well. Okay, no script file we have right now. and we are not getting anything here if you will see on console. Okay, so now what I'm going to do here, I'm going to add just one file. Okay, main.js, nothing else. Okay, in module 1.js first, let's say here we have one a small functionalities. I'm going to write simply a class over here. Let's say here we have class, okay, and employee. So here I'm going to remove all these files first. Here we have, yeah, so module 1. So here I'm going to write designation. Okay, so I have created this constructor, and here we'll create a property. This dot name is equal to same name I'm going to keep here. And another thing here, I'm going to take it as this dot, I can say here it as designation is equal to same designation. Okay, so we have here one class, and let's say here we have one function as well, get emp name. Okay, and here we have this function which will accept that emp object. Okay, and here simply I'm going to, okay, get emp name, and here I'm going to simply print what, console.log. Okay, that emp dot name. One more function I'm going to create here, same like this, get emp, I'm writing here role. Okay, same object again we are passing here, and instead of this emp dot name, I'm going to write here designation. Okay, emp dot designation. You have to use this class, okay, or this two functions somewhere else in some other file. Okay, then what you have to do, then what you have to do is, let's say here you have to use in main.js, you want to create one object as per this class structure. Then what you have to do, you have to simply write, like there are two ways to export the class or function. Okay, one is the default way, another one is a standard way. So simply you can write here export default. Okay, export default, and then that class name employee. You will be able to, means here, use this one. So this is the first way that you can export, and in one file. Now if you have to export these two functions also, if you want to use somewhere else in some other file, so you have to export these two things also. So but here we have one restriction, that this is the standard way that you can go with. One is default, another one is this one. So I think if you have learned about the destructuring, you remember. So simply you can write here get emp name if you want to export this one, and another one also, then get emp role. So these two functions you can export, okay, like this. And one thing here you need to remember, like in one file, only one thing you can do as a default, not each and everything. If you have multiple classes, multiple functions, so you can make only one class or function as a default export. Okay, so here you have seen how to export these things. So this is the one way. that you can export. Another way is also there. Directly here itself in inline, you can write export, and this one I'm going to make as default. Okay, export default, then class name. And for functions, we cannot write again another default here. So simply here we have to write export. Okay, export this function because I'm going to use this one somewhere else. If you will not allow, or if you will not write export, you won't be able to import anywhere else. Okay, so this is mandate to export if you want to use that. So this is another way, that inline here, inline export, that you can write export default. And always remember, as I said, only one function or class you can make as a default export. Now here, if you want to create one object based on this class, then what you have to do, simply normally what we write, like var first emp1, okay, is equal to new, and that class name employee. See, once I'm writing like this, no employee, because of this prettier tool, automatically it is importing, but I'm going to remove right now this one employee. If I'm writing, okay, it knows actually from where it is coming. So here in employee, we can pass first thing name. Let's say here Priyanka. Okay, here I'm giving designation as admin. Okay, admin. And now we can wrap this file, no, admin. So if you will save, no, here you are getting this employee is not defined. So if you are trying to create this like object here by using this constructor call, you need to declare what we say, this class, no. So it is declared, but it is in another file. So what you have to do, simply you have to write import, and what you have exported here, that employee, no. So same thing you have to do here as well. You have to write employee, and from that particular file you have to mention. No need to mention .js. Okay, .js is not required. If you are writing, that is also fine. Here you see outside of module. This you are getting because here you are using module and you have not defined that you are using a module. So here you have to mention one thing called type is equal to module. Now you won't get that error. Okay, in a script you have to mention one extra attribute called type is equal to module. Okay, that's it. Now I'm going to close this file, and now if you will try to print this emp object, then see here console dot log. Okay, emp1, if you will print, you will get that object. Okay, so now you know what is the advantage here. You can create any class, you can use that file anywhere. Okay, and main file, which is the main file where you are integrating all your modules, that you can call in your HTML. No need to call multiple files there. Okay, is that clear? So this is the first thing. Even if you are writing like this employee, if you don't want to write like this employee, because this is a default export, so you can write simply E. Okay, and here also you can write E, you will get the same result. You can customize that name while like importing, but this will happen just for the default export thing. If you will remove this default, no, you will get error. Okay, so that's why here you have to mention default. So for this one it is working. What if you want to export, because you have exported these two methods, no, functions, no. So now you want to use these two functions as well. So here you have to import, because if you are going to use that, you have to import that one. So how to import? Because the files and modules is same, no need to write another import. Simply you can write comma over here, and then like this, you have to mention that get emp name. See, it is coming, comma, get emp role. Okay, now you have exported here. Okay, so you will be able to call that function here now. Simply get emp name. Simply you are calling emp name, pass that object which you have created just now. Okay, you will get that name. You are getting here, no, Priyanka? Same thing, get emp role. Here, what you can do, you can pass again that object called emp1. You will get designation as well. Okay, role as well. What if you want to change the name? If you have like very long name, you are using any API, and you for for your ease, you want to just short that name. Then what you can do is simply you can write here that normal like a standard export, not default export. Here you can write as you want to use here, simply emp n. Okay, and for this one you want to use as emp r. So now if you will save this, you will get error because this is not defined. So here what you have to do, you have to write this one emp n and emp r. You are getting that result. So everyone, is that clear, or you have any doubt in import and export module?
It's clear, sir.
Fine. So well, now you are almost done with the JavaScript thing, like code concept we have already covered, and you can revise now. Now you are ready to go for the React JS. Like you have that much concept, whatever the like prerequisite for the React JS, you can go with that. But for the DOM and BOM, still we have not learned like how to append something in real time in web page, how to create a new element, isn't it? How to append, how to delete, how to change color, like dynamically. So those things we will start from tomorrow. The core concepts are done. If you have any question or anything, then you can ask me.